Okay, everybody, I am so excited today because I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Cal Dodd, aka Wolverine, X-Men 97. We're talking spoilers for the whole season, so make sure you watch the show first. Cal, how you doing today?
I am wonderful, Steve. And you?
I'm doing great. I'm happy we got this all going. I have to talk about right away what's on everyone's mind is that this big moment with Magneto ripping out the adamantium of Wolverine. When did you first find this out, and what was your initial reaction?
When did I find out that that was going to happen?
Yeah.
Um, no one formally told me from Disney. Um, I comic books sort of pre-warned me that that might happen because I had a meeting before we started this whole thing with Bo DeMayo, and our voice director and Meredith. And I said, "So what? Why are we having this meeting? You're not killing off Wolverine, are you?"
Oh god.
No, no, no. No, that's all they said. I said, "Okay, good. Then we can go forward." I said, "Yeah, well, it's going to be quite a journey." I said, "I'll take him wherever he goes, bub."
I
And
love that.
it was like and it kind of upset me that when I watched the episode because he's like a brother to me, and I'm very
Sure.
protective of Wolverine. And the scream that I recorded at the end of that thing, as I was directed, was it went on for about 35 to 40 seconds of me because I'm a singer initially, so
Mm.
I have great voice breathing and stuff. So the scream was like it just went on like "Ah!" Like forever and ever and ever, like an echo into like because he's falling at the whole thing. They didn't use it.
Right, right.
And according to the comics on the comics, and they put that up because I actually texted them and said, what's up with that? I mean, that was like that took a lot out of me to do that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you don't use it. And in the comics, it said that Wolverine is so devastated and in such pain that it was too painful for him to even scream. So
Mm.
then it made sense to me that it was just okay, because obviously his mouth is open in the animated on the camera, like he's just like wide open. Hence, I thought that would be where my scream would come in, but it's just they just nothing, dead silence, so to speak.
Well, no, that's a great answer and a great explanation and figuring all
Yeah,
that out and from comic to animation, and it makes sense why there wasn't the audio of the screen, but it's cool to see hear you do it here.
yeah,
Are
but it
you
hurt. It
yeah,
hurt when that happened, just to look at it and just go like, wow, now what?
right.
So that's where everyone's sitting at. Now what? Is he still alive? Then
Right.
that kind of thing. And I don't even
Yeah,
know when next season starts. I mean, is
right.
it are they making the fans wait another year before they start like the next season? I don't think
Yeah.
so.
No, I mean, speaking of that too, is there something you're saying it's like a brother to you, this character? Is there something you've always dreamed of you'd like to see maybe the show eventually explore with Wolverine?
Well, I'd like them to discover him again and find him because he's MIA.
Right.
He's been MIA. I'm just wondering, and he has none of those great lines like all right, you egg sucking piece of gutter trash. There's none of that. You always did like shoving around people younger, shorter than you. Well, I'm shorter. Try pushing me. And like, really intelligent remarks like, got bit by a dog too. The very first episode. Did you find the girl? They're looking for Jubilee. Did you find the girl? Storm says, no, the scent went cold outside the house. Got bit by a dog too. Like, you idiot. You're full of him adamantium. You have claws and stuff. Did it hurt him in the dog? I just right then from the very first episode, Steve, I said, oh, I love this guy's heart. And he's so lonely. And he's such a loner that every now and then he does want people to, hey, I'm here. Remember me. I am here. Give me a little bit of your attention. I got bit by a dog too. None of those funny lines. And then, so I mentioned that to them, and then they started. There has been a couple of funny ones, like when Jean's pregnant, and there's just Wolverine with her, and she says, "Oh my God, he's here! He's coming! He's here!" Wolverine's like, "Oh, Apocalypse, where is he?" And she says, no, like basically she's saying, no, you idiot. The baby. And the Wolverine's response is, oh crap.
No, that was hysterical. I'm happy those funnier moments picked up as the season went on with
Yeah.
Wolverine.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and then on from there into the hospital, when the doctor says they have to do a cesarean, she said, "I'll show you a cesarean," like that. You know, those kind of funny lines.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there a particular moment that was your favorite moment of the season for Wolverine?
uh, Pretty much when we were in Hollywood for the premiere,
Mm,
uh, and they showed 2 episodes to this to the in the biggest theater in Hollywood, and there was like about 800, 900 people in the audience, like fans. It
yeah.
was it was just insane. As soon
Yeah.
as everyone's favorite character came on, they just went berserk. And
Yeah.
Wolverine had a dumb line in that episode, not just one of his classic, like, duh. He doesn't even know he's being funny when he says something that's funny. It might have even been one of those lines like, who's he's coming, and oh crap or something. But they just roared with laughter and like stood up and were cheering because the first time they'd seen him. And same with me. That was the first time we saw any of the episodes with the fans. And I got
Right.
to where they were so loud and wouldn't be quiet that the back half of that line, I I could, and I'm with my wife, and I turned, and whatever the line was before that, and then he says another one, and it's a bit softer, but they're still screaming and yelling, and I just want to get up. Do you mind cooling it? I can't hear my lines.
Oh my God.
I was upset with the audience. Quit it! I can't hear it.
That would have been amazing. So, I mean, that kind of moment for you too. I mean, that's years coming in the making, right? Because you're continuing that love from the animated series, original series, to
Oh
this
God,
moment.
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm missing so far is just the well, him number one, because it's like they're what do you call it? They're discovering and bringing in other potential X-Men, or
Yeah.
new characters
Right.
like Sunspot, who we like to call Sunburn, Sunspot, Sunspot, and Jubilee's boyfriend, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah, and a whole bunch of other different characters. And I would go into the studio to record, and poor Meredith is and I've read the episode, but I'm so confused. I walk in to record my lines, and she says, "Turn to page whatever, 200 and no 224," and I go there and I said, "By the way, who are half of these people that are in this episode?" She said, "Oh well, they're." I said, "Oh, they're new, all right. I've never met them." But she was just laughing, and I was just so confused.
Yeah, that is wild. No, I think that's what makes it so interesting seeing Wolverine with these new characters, and I love how you're talking about it. And I mean, are you a fan of the brown and yellow suit we got to see this season?
No,
No.
no. Well, this is what I'm used to, these colors.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
As they were described to us when we got the jackets: Wolverine yellow, or the other jack that other people like, of course, Cyclops, the voice for Cyclops, and Beast, George Buza, or X-Men blue for the color of the leather.
Sure.
And of course, that was no question for me. Well, I'll have, because the back of every one of the jackets, regardless of what color you got on the thing, was His Majesty. Wolverine's on the back of this thing.
Of course.
Yeah. And so Norm Spencer, God bless him, may he rest in peace, who played Cyclops in the original series, we were always recording beside each other. And I said, so, and we called each other by our characters' names and stuff. And I said, so Psych, what color are you getting? Like, no, she said, well, it won't be Wolverine yellow, I can tell you that much. So he gets this jacket, Steve, and he comes into the studio about a month later. And I've been wearing mine like every episode that we're in doing. And I can see in his face, just like, aren't you getting sick of wearing that? But, oh, he comes in with his jacket finally, and he's got the blue leather and stuff. But I know who's on the back of his jacket. I said, so Psych, who's on the back of your jacket? And he says, I don't know. I never looked. And I said, you lie. You are lying. I said, I'll show you who's on it. And I turned around and showed him the back of the jacket.
Oh man.
And he just said, oh, piss off.
That's amazing. And I love you're talking about that you guys recorded together. So
Yeah.
with the X-Men 97, did you have any of that this time recording with people with you, or is it always solo?
No. And after in our original series too, we went about 5 episodes before the engineer finally said, Okay, I've had it. Like this is I can't control. You're leaking into his mic, he's leaking into Jubilee's mic, and she's leaking in, it was just a nightmare because there were like 7 of us in a semicircle.
Right.
These, all of us. And he said, and he tried baffles, but that didn't work. So it was weird in an action scene. The only time that they didn't put baffles in was when Wolverine was in a fight scene with Sabretooth.
Mm.
Don Franks, me, rest in peace as well. And myself, and it was just the two of us screaming constantly, like, and he sounded the same as me. He's like, and then, which brings me to him on top of a cliff, and he's just throwing Wolverine off, who lands in the frozen water. And Wolverine, he says, you'll die down there, Wolverine. And Wolverine, rest in pieces. You'll die in this frozen Arctic water. And with that, Wolverine comes out, his claws come out first. He's come up from underneath the water and clutches a big iceberg. And Sabretooth goes bananas and says, No, you can't rob me of my revenge. Aren't you, Wolverine? Wolverine, you'll die alone, and you'll float alone until that ice melts or something. And Wolverine just looks up at him and says, doesn't yell at him, he's talking to himself. At least I won't have to listen to your flapping mouth anymore.
So, but that's amazing. Like even in this interview, you're able to just tap
No,
into that.
so sorry, I
Yeah.
go off in
Continue.
tangent. So the sound, that was the only time that we didn't have to be separate because they're all screams anyway and
Sure.
stuff. But with the rest of us, so we never, from that 5th episode of the first year of the 5 years, after 5 episodes, we all went in separately.
Right. Right. So
Yeah.
so for that though, when you're going in, like I'm noticing in this interview, you're able to just tap right into Wolverine. Like, is it that easy for you, or do you have to have like a ritual beforehand? Do you drink honey? Is there anything you're doing, or you're in, it's there?
No.
So you mentioned in another interview that you had to re-audition for the part. So were you worried at all, or were you like, I got this, like the night before? Like, how did that even feel?
I was sort of not insulted. I was kind of laughing because they want everyone to sound like the original Wolverine. I said, "Gee, I'll try. Fingers crossed. I hope I get it." But what bugged me, not bugged me, Steve, was the audition piece that they sent me.
Mm,
And it's on that same episode that I just did with Sabretooth in that
mm,
that's called Cold Vengeance, that episode where
right.
he leaves the X-Men after Jean, they're about to kiss and they don't kiss, and she says, I have to go, Cyclops needs me. And Wolverine says under his breath, and it broke his heart,
Right.
so do I, he said. And then he goes in and rips off Cyclops' roof of his car. Tell Cyclops I made it comfortable. And he heads up to the Arctic to be with
Right.
the Eskimos and stuff, where he loves being, and he's alone. He was going to basically leave the X-Men. And what was the question again?
So that was the audition scene, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So in that episode, after Wolverine becomes the hero of the Inuit, and the regular hero is like really pissed off because Wolverine's usurped his popularity and the strongest guy, and they're throwing Wolverine up in a blanket, the women and the kids and stuff, and Wolverine's sitting outside the chief's hut, and the chief says to Wolverine, "The people are very happy, and it's all because of you." And Wolverine. So from this was my audition piece was this line that goes, I know I don't get it. I feel happy too. I feel at peace.
Right.
And this chief says, no man knows peace until he has it firmly in his heart, my friend. And Wolverine, he leaves. And Wolverine just turns to the camera and says, you called me friend. You called me
Right.
friend. It was so important to him. So that was the audition line that I had to read, which is Wolverine seldom speaks that slowly and quietly and
Mm.
full of heart, that heart feeling. So do I. I don't know. I feel, it's not like this voice and like screaming and yelling and like back off. None of that stuff. So it was, I like that, but it was like, wow, are they trying to trick me here?
Right.
Why did,
Trying to chip you
why
up.
did, why did they pick this line? Do they not think I can do that slow, heartfelt? Well, I love it. So I got it.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have to wait a while to hear, or is it you just instantly?
I don't know. It must have been like maybe 3 or 4 days or something because they were,
Oh, nice.
announcements. And they have to do that because it's AFTRA and ACTRA rules also in Canada or ACTRA. But if it's a new production, you have to allow anyone who wants to be fair to anyone who wants to audition
Mm,
for any role. So that's why they did that, just to cover that base and say, no, no, we auditioned all kinds of people.
yeah.
I understood that, so I'm just happy I got it.
Sure. And now that the show is part of the big Marvel Studios juggernaut of it all, did you ever get to meet or speak with Kevin Feige at any point?
Did I ever get what?
To speak or meet with Kevin Feige at any point?
No,
No.
no, just Bo DeMayo. Uh, you mean writer wise?
Yeah, no, I was just wondering if you ever met him, like, since it's
No,
now in this big umbrella. Not yet.
no. Even in I'm sure he was there in L.A. in Hollywood. Jake Castorina was there, the director, the
Yeah,
new director, whatever, and a bunch. But I didn't know any of the other people aside from our cast.
sure. Um, and I want to ask you too, just seeing your passion for this part, and I love that. Would you ever in your life not take the call to play Wolverine, or would you do this forever? Like, is there any situation you wouldn't?
That I wouldn't do the voice of Wolverine. No, there isn't. I said that to them. Wherever you take him, he's my brother. I'll be there. It's me you're talking to. Nobody else. You find somebody else, I'll kill him.
That's what I wanted to hear.
If you get someone else, I will sick that dog that bit me on him.
I love that. Well, Cal, thank you for joining me today. Everybody, just watch X-Men 97 and the original X-Men animated series. It's amazing on Disney Plus. Cal, you are just amazing. I am so honored to talk to you, and I hope to talk to you in the future one day.
And by the way, do you like the new look of because when I first saw the new look of Wolverine, before anyone else saw it, we were doing ADR. So the animators that animate to our voices, our lines when we read them, and then month later or something, whatever, the people see it and it's off sync. That they didn't really ad lib to. If I said, "Back off, bub," and the animator drew it as if I said, "Back off, bub." You know,
Right.
so I have to go in and redo the line and watch Wolverine's lips. So I was beyond excited because I hadn't seen him in 23 years at that point, or 25 years. And I'm into the studio, and I'm in Toronto, and they're in LA, and they got this big screen that I'm looking at, and I couldn't believe it because he just walked out and he was huge. And
Oh, yes.
with the new animation, I just went, "Holy crap!"
Yeah.
And I started talking to him. "Hi, buddy. How you been doing without me? I guess it's been pretty quiet for you."
Yeah. No, I love the new look at it. It's like he's just
Oh,
totally jacked. And then when they had him shirtless in the season, you really felt like, oh my God. Like
oh yeah. This is definitely heading movie. This is heading to a movie. This thing,
yeah.
animation looks so good. It's like that already.
Yeah. I hope so. That would be
That
amazing.
that will be happening. I will predict that. That will
Love
be
it.
future film X-Men animated movie.
That would be amazing. That is so exciting to hear. Cal, it's been awesome. And I
Thanks.
hope you have a
Thank
great
you.
day, man. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. My
Thank
pleasure.
you.